Texas. Yep. I'm going to go spend some time with the grandkids and check on some property and stuff like that, you know.
Are you looking for a retirement location?
Oh, no. I'm already retired. I'm just looking for my final resting place.
Oh, you're looking for a plot.
Yeah, no, a living plot. In other words, to live out the remainder of my years.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not a bad idea. Have you ever been to San Antonio?
Oh yeah, I've been there many times. The Riverwalk and the Air Force Base out there, and they got all kinds of interesting things going on.
Yeah. Well, my son spent his basic training there at Lackland, and it was kind of the middle of the summer, so a lot of humidity.
Oh yeah, I don't, humidity, from Southern California, I got used to the humidity from being down there in the beach areas, but yeah, you get used to it. It's no big deal. But I got a Lackland story I got to tell you. One of my sons had his basic training out there at Lackland, and so when I went there, I got a place. I wanted to get a place in the BOQ. That stands for Bachelor's Officers Quarters. Well, because of my rank, being a senior official, they put me into what's called the special suite, which is normally reserved for one-star generals and above. So here we are. We're staying in a really nice suite, and called the general quarters or whatever they want to call it. My daughter-in-law, whose husband was graduating from basic training there, she found the what's called the guest book. And a lot of people aren't familiar with guest books because their families don't have those kinds of traditions. But it is in our family, so we were very familiar with guest books. I have one here for visitors who come and visit, and so on and so forth. And so she decided she was going to write in the guest book, and so she was reading all the entries from the previous people who stayed there. They were anywhere from one-star generals up to four-star generals, and here she was introducing herself as the wife of somebody who was graduating from basic training. How about that, huh?
Yeah, I imagine that got their attention real quick.
Oh well, it's just good reading for the next occupant.
Yeah, there you go. Like how do these people slip in here?
Yeah. Well, not when you. I mean, I guess it probably does happen, but not in this kind of environment. This is a very professional environment, and things are much more. Golly, I'm not even sure what the word would be. It's not emotional. It's non crazy. It's non manic depressive. I mean, I'm sure there's probably some of that stuff, but it's usually held on a very professional level.
Yeah. Well, yeah. We went to Lackland to pick up my son and bring him back to California because he was already assigned to Travis Air Force Base. And we were looking around for a place to eat, and we stumbled into the Officers Club, and I don't think I should have been there, so we went back to where the basic training guys were hanging out.
Square, triangle. Well, it just depends on who was taking whom. I mean, an enlisted person, has what's called an EM club or an NCO club, And he's not supposed to be going into the officers club, but if his spouse can and his parents can, so you were just fine.
Yeah, no, I was fine, but I don't think he was.
Oh, he would have been fine, so long as he was your guest.
Yeah, right. Well, that's what he said, and I still didn't feel comfortable about it because it was putting him on edge, so I said, no, we won't go that way.
Yeah, you're just, that just means you're just such a good dad and you're just looking out for him, you know. Good for you.
Yeah, well, I didn't think it would be productive for him because I didn't want anybody pulling no strings or asking any questions.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's kind of interesting. When I was in basic training, when I was in boot camp, I snuck out of camp and I went down to the NCO club because, Saturday nights usually in the NCO club is really rocking and rolling, you know. So I'm in there, I'm on the dance floor dancing with some gals, and the place was just jam packed. And then I bumped into somebody on the dance floor, you know, kind of did the quick look to see who it was you bumped into to see if you have to, say you're sorry, that's what you should do, or protect yourself. You never know. Somebody's had too much to drink. And the person I bumped into happened to be my drill sergeant.
I bet he wasn't saying much the next day.
Well, what I did is he followed me over to the bar, and right in front of him, I told the bartender, I said, whatever the drill sergeant orders, put it on my tab, and that took care of it.
Oh, okay. So then you were his best friend.
Oh yeah.
You made a good move.
I mean, I had no choice. I didn't have the money to pick up an extra bar tab, but yeah, it kept me out of the brig.
Yeah, you don't want to go there. Yeah, well, he had some interesting experiences there, and I don't know, when you're crawling through the mud and they're setting off all the explosions, you know how that goes.
Well, it's the Air Force. It's not really, it's not real basic training. When I went through basic training, and I don't know if you were in the military at all, but they were preparing us for Vietnam. They kicked your teeth in. And the DIs back then, they didn't mess around. It was pretty brutal, and it was really to get you ready for war. And we went through the whole thing. I mean, everything from A through Z to include POW camp, which was would be considered, I don't know, would probably be considered an illegal thing for the military to do now, because I'm hearing they don't have it anymore. But POW camp was really brutal.
Well, that was the time we lived through, and I think he was part of that Desert Storm thing, or 9/11. No, it was 9/11. And so they were a little easier on him because they obviously weren't going to war, but they didn't know that.
Well, yeah, they. You don't find out, and you can't tell anybody when they tell you that you got to show up at a certain place, and you go to make a phone call from a payphone, because that's all we had back in them days, and all the payphones were turned off. We didn't have cell phones, and so you couldn't really call anybody and say, "Hey, I just got the word. I gotta go. In such and such a building on the tarmac there to get on a C-130 or whatever it happened to be, and don't know where I'm going, and I don't know when I'm coming back."
Yeah, that's right. Well, the bride just gave me the signal. I'm trying to eat early tonight, Kevin.
What radio you got? Yeah, it's 7 o'clock, so you still got plenty of time. I think Skip will show up about 7:30, I think.
That's interesting. I have to resort to the SDR for him. I don't know what kind of antenna he's running, but maybe it's propagation and all. People say he's strong. Is he strong down there to you?
Oh, lately I haven't had a problem at all copying Skip. There was a time that, I don't know what he was doing, but, operating Mobile is usually the worst time. But, I usually hear him. John, when he does his recordings and stuff, it seems like Skip has a pretty decent signal into John. How far away do you live from John?
Well, I'm probably more towards the coast of California, and he's just on the inside of the border up there at Fallon. But still, I don't know. I know I'm strong to you, and him, but I don't know because he's got that huge antenna that he runs, and I just got this mishmash thing I threw together. I don't even know. Yeah, I couldn't tell you much about it other than it's just a wire that kind of attaches to the other antenna.
Yeah, well, you always have a good signal, Bill. So, congratulations on whatever it is that you're running, because it's doing a good job for you. It just may not be compatible for, for Skip. You just might be X number of miles too close or too far for the signal to reach you at the proper amplitude necessary to hear him clearly. Hey, listen, I don't want to hold you up for dinner. I'm only running about 80 watts here. I'm just going to hang around here and see who shows up. WA6JKN.
Yeah, okay, Kevin, and I'm going to take off here so I can get back and good hear it in there. WA6JKN, K6LK. Catch you later.
Okay, good evening, gentlemen. Thank you for keeping the frequency warm. K6LGL, the Swan net is in session. Good evening to you, Kevin, and good evening to you, Bill. K6LGL, I've been listening to you for the past minute or so. Bill, good evening. Good to hear you. Besides you and Kevin, who else is in there? K6 green light. November 660, Hotel Kilo.
K86 VWS.
Well, we got already 4. Okay, let me write down some calls before I forget it. So we have WA6JKN,
Pretty close.
K6LK,
A lot better.
and 6WHK, and hello to Ron, KD6VWS. Okay, good. So, let's, I wanted to see how Bill is copying me there, and then toss it to Kevin, and then back to me. Hey, welcome to the Swan net, K6 River Green Light, Santa Monica by the Bay.
Yeah, just to let you know, Bill took off for dinner. He'll be back in a little bit.
Okay, you getting a little RF coming I know you know what that sounds like. It's a little RF coming on the hunt. You might need to turn your mic gain down a little bit on that one.
Yeah, that's true. Well, just let me know when it's my turn to burn. This is WA6JKN, and good evening to everyone.
Okay, got a pretty good signal there, Kevin. Good evening to you. Then over to our friend Phil. And Phil, will you pass it to Ron?
Okay.
KD6VWS. Nice sunny day today. Maybe it's the beginning of a better month because March is not typical at all. Over to you there, Phil, K6 River Green Light for the Swan net.
K6LGL and 6WHK.
Well, I'm running my normal stuff here. I'm running the Swan 350 Delta. I've been sitting here a few minutes listening to Kevin and the other gentleman talk. And I heard you come in and ask for check-in, so I did. And of course, Ron did too. He was probably listening. George won't be here tonight. and let's get together, get over early,
I'll tell you something.
which I don't think it will be. We started about, I don't know, a noon around then.
When you get 1 inch from, you need to turn the light down.
Old San Diego High School
Once you get some light on, you need to turn it down, say 9
some kind of
o'clock.
get together. We got music and bands and
until you're
all kinds of religious stuff.
9 o'clock.
So I don't know exactly what, but I do know that's what he told me. So with that, over to Ron, KD6DWS and 6WHK.
All right, Bill, it's 6WHK and yep. Anyway, yeah, I'm on the Swan 350C and the usual. Yeah, it was a beautiful day here today. Went for my ride.
Okay, you need to come up here a little bit.
Yucca Valley.
Leave the one on the
Chilled there for a while, then I did a little shopping and came back and watched a mining channel on YouTube for a little while, and then came down here and I heard Kevin and Bill talking. So, yeah, conditions are pretty good. I still have that noise, but I know where it's coming from, so I'm going to have to go confront them. It's about half a block away. There's some bungalows, and I took my radio, I've got a, what is that, a GC1?
Yeah, that sounds pretty good to me. That's a lot better than it was.
Got a 1958 Heathkit, all transistor, germanium transistor, portable, and tracked it down there. It's funny, there's no modulation on it. It's just carrier, and it's every 30 kc from down in the broadcast band all the way. I chased it all the way up to 30 megs. Every 30 kc. Boy, you talk about a comb generator. Yeah, I'm going to have to knock on some doors.
I don't know if they want to pick you up or not. I'll stand by here to see if they can pick you up. You got a great signal on you. About 30, 35 every night. And like I said,
let me send it back up to skip, I guess. I think I'm on the caboose. So, K6LGL, KD6BWS, WB6MWL.
Let's see if anybody else can speak here.
Jay, welcome aboard, Jay, there from Inland Empire, WB6MWL. Okay, I'll turn it over to you. Let me just make a few remarks. Ron, I'm very glad that you at least found a general location of that place. That's good. Yeah, it helps to have a broadband radio that goes up to 30, maybe 40 megacycles, and that gives you an idea. So, good luck. Phil, you're sounding good too. Kevin also, and not bad at all. So, I guess you got a little sunshine there also, Jay. Did hear good news that the state of California has got 14 inches of rain above our normal. But of course we still are in a severe drought condition, unfortunately. But there is some water in the reservoirs, and that's good, and hopefully someone will get the groundwater. So over to you, WB6MWL. How things over there in Claremont in the Inland Empire? K6, little green light in the SwanNet.
Yeah, K6LGL in the SwanNet, WB6MWL. Yeah, it was a beautiful day out here today. A little bit windy this evening, but not bad. Light wind. And I think it got up well over 70, I'm pretty sure. Real close to it, I don't know. But I did quite a bit of yard work today and didn't get it all done. You know how the weeds are, they just are everywhere. I know you know how that is, Skip. But yeah, I did go for a walk for a while. Did that and got a little exercise that way. And we're in the 500C here, putting out about, I think about 250 watts, something like that. So everybody's signal was good there. I didn't get in here in time to hear Bill, but everybody's signal is sounding good. So I'll turn it back over to you, Skip. K6LGL, Master of Ceremony is WB6MWL.
Okay, thank you, Jay. And WB6MWL there.
Yeah.
And Claremont, Inland Empire, K6LGL, the Swan.
Okay, you running an amplifier?
Well, we got a good beginning. There's, look, 6 of us now. So we got something. Let's see if there's any other check-ins for the Swan net. And you don't have to be running Swan equipment to check into this net. Also, we honor the memory of Herb Johnson, W6QKI, who created a single conversion transceiver at U high and a reasonable cost. So that was the thing. But I'm personally fond of the tube type more than I am the solid state. However, anything related to Swan is welcome here. And for that matter, anybody else who gets on
into the microphone and talk directly into the microphone. Don't turn your head, stay right in that microphone.
Let's go Swan net, K6LGL. Okay, I'm not hearing anybody. If somebody is, then please relay and welcome in. So, I wonder what happened to Paul. I hope he's okay. K2LMQ, you know, kind of miss him. George may not be quite back yet from Cuba, although I think Phil mentioned that he does have another activity. So, I will catch up with him later on. So, well, back to you then, Kevin. And tell us what's been happening with you. W6JKN, they're possibly in Gilroy. K6LGL with the Swan net.
Okay, Skip, good signal tonight. And let's see, we got, Skip, you're about a little over 15 over S9. You got Phil, 20 over. You got BWS, 20 over. And Jay, MWL is about 20, I think about 22 maybe, over S9, somewhere like that. Good signals by everybody so far. And yeah, Paul, let's see, he was on one of the nets here a couple days ago, wasn't he? And he sounded good. Maybe it's just my memory failing me, but I'm pretty sure I heard him in there, but who knows? Sometimes you get gaps in the memory. All right, let's see. Okay, ham radio related projects. Well, I did a no-no, and I bought what I thought was going to be some reliable right angle connectors for PL259, SO239. 59, and it's just an elbow, right, or an L connector, and I bought 5 of them. And so I did that because I was trying to configure a quick disconnect to completely remove my solid state stuff in the event of lightning and stuff like that, which doesn't really happen around here, but you know, I'm retired, I was bored, so I wanted to do that. Well, I should have known better not to buy non-Amphenol parts, because I myself, I've talked about this before. You know, Amphenol is the only way to go. Well, anyway, they just look so good. And so I bought them, and I put them in, and sure enough, my Mercury Lux amplifier, I used it to test them, and yeah, they weren't any good. And so I said, okay, let's get to the bottom of it. So I kind of did kind of what we call a destructive physical analysis without the the spectrum equipment, so I just went ahead and ground the L connector so I can see inside, because what I noticed when I was inspecting it and making measurements with an ohm meter is that the SO part was rotating. The barrel, the female barrel was rotating, and so although the connection seemed to be okay, it just told me that there was no crimp connection, there was no solder connection. It was probably just loosely making connection with the right angle going into the other half. Okay, so I wanted to prove out my suspicion, so I put it on the bench grinder and I ground it down just enough to open up one side to take a look at it, and I go, wow, I can't believe it. They actually just pushed the wire through the hole of the pin going on the other side of the connector. It wasn't solder, it wasn't crimped, it wasn't even an interference fit. It was just flopping around loosely. Could rotate easily, no problem. And so I guess if you were to use it for like a receive at high frequency, it would be, capacitively coupled, so you wouldn't really care. But for RF at 1,000 watts, 1,500 watts, yep, not gonna do it. So I said, okay, can I somehow recover this and make this better? So what I did was I wanted to see if the material was used was anything but horse manure, so I wanted to make sure it was solderable, so I got some solder, I got some flux and solder, and it soldered right up, no problem. So I says, okay, now I have a good solid connection, nothing rotates anymore, and I put it on the Mercury Lux and ran it up to about 2,000 watts, maybe about 2,100 watts, and into the bird dummy load, and it handled it no problem whatsoever. So I went through all the different frequencies from 160 meters right up to 6 meters, and no problem whatsoever. SWR was what it should have been with the dummy load, 1.0 to 1, thereabouts. So where did I go from there? Well, I had 4 more connectors that were unusable unless I did some kind of a modification. So what I did was, since I had already ground my one of them up, and I knew exactly where the joint was, and if I was going to solder it, what size drill bit would I need to just drill a hole where my soldering iron would fit in, put in a little bit of flux, and add some solder, and then go ahead and put a cap on it. So that's what I did. I took the other 4 connectors, drilled a hole through them, gained access to inside where the floppy joint was. That was, it was just a wire through a pin. So I went ahead, put a little flux on it, soldered them all up, ran them through the test on the Mercury Lux up to about 2,100 watts, from 160 meters to 6 meters, and of course this was in the dummy load, and it worked just fine. So that was my solution to these poorly manufactured ELK connectors for ham radio. All right, let's keep it moving. I sent it over to, let's see, I guess I turned it over to Phil, K6WHK, and the Swan Group, WA6JKN.
WA6JKN and 6WHK. Right business there. Well, I've done the same thing as you. When I put up my hex beam, I put up one of those L-shaped connectors up on the top of the beam, and I ran a coax up to it. I made a loop for rotation. Ran the coax down and all the way into the house here, and it worked for about a year.
That guy has some more stuff.
And then we started getting rain. And people kept telling me that your signal is breaking up. There's something wrong. And, well, right now the Higgs beam is down. It's its lowest point. Coax is disconnected. We're going to have to drop the tower so we can get to the top of the Higgs beam. and take that L-shaped connector off, and I'm going to run good coax all the way up to the connector up there on that post that sticks up. You know, it's a 10, 15, 20, and 40 meter loops hang on to and reconnect. And maybe it'll be even work then. But right now with that I believe that's the only thing it is that L-shaped connector is bad because we've done a coax check from up at the tower all the way into the shack. SWR was perfect. I had a good dummy load up there, and I used my good meter and checked it out, and no problem at all on the coax or the connector. Matter of fact, I even cut the connector off up there and put a new one on just to make sure. Anyhow, you're not the only one who's got to playing with this, and mine is an ethanol. I can't say it right. Connector. It's a high quality connector. But after a year out in the wilderness, that's what happened. So with that, let's turn it over to our friend. KD6J. Oh, good Lord, I can't do it right. KD6VWS and 6WHK.
All right, Bill, N6WHK, KD6VWS, and, well, I thought I was the only one that had that problem with those connectors. Come to find out, yeah, everybody's getting burned by them. Yeah, I don't remember what brand they were. I think it was with the neoprene or whatever it is, you know, the white dielectric. I don't think they were Amphenol. I think they were probably something else. Chinese, good old Tricom connectors. So, yeah, I got a couple bad ones too. And, oh man. Yeah, I thought I was the only one. So, but, well, Kevin, I guess you found the fix for them. I didn't know what was wrong with them. I just put some red dicum on them, scrap, like they do in the machine shop. Use red dicum whenever you scrap a part, paint it red, so it don't get mixed with the good parts. So, yeah. And hello, Jay, you're coming in good. Yeah, I think it got up to about 70 degrees today, but man, the whole month of March, this is the first time I can remember the whole month of March, it never got up to 70. And, you know, normally it gets up into the mid-70s in March here, but man, this year, had to dress like an Eskimo every time I go hiking and go riding, so, boy, thank goodness April's here, so we'll maybe get some spring weather for a change. Alrighty, let me send it over to you, Jay, WB6MWL, KD6VWS.
Yeah, KD6VWS, WB6MWL, very good. Yeah, I try to use all Amphenol connectors. I might have a few that aren't, but we used to have a electronics place here in Montclair. Unfortunately, the guy retired and closed it up, but that's all he sold was Amphenol coax connectors. He wouldn't sell anything else, and because of the quality issues. So, yeah, I'd be curious if those were Chinese connectors there, Kevin. But anyway, yeah, I think we've all had that problem with coax jumpers and one thing or another not being made too good. But anyway, my dad was a machinist. I remember that stuff that he would put on that, the red stuff. I didn't know what it was called even, but I know I was still in high school then when he was getting ready to retire, but Well, no, I guess he did retire after I got out of high school. But anyway, yeah, I used to go to the shop he worked at over in Ontario, and they had parts with that stuff on. It didn't pass muster there, I guess you'd call it. So, yeah, I guess Bill went to dinner there. I didn't hear him. And, but everybody's coming in well over S9 here. So, I guess I'm the caboose here, so we'll turn it back to Skip and see what else he has there. K6LGO in the Swan group. You know, Kevin, I was trying to remember if you had a Swan. I think you said you did, but you might comment on that. I just can't remember. K6LGL, WB6MWL.
Okay, Jay. Yeah, a little QSB there on the signals. WB6MWL. K6LGL with the Swan net. Hey, interesting comments there, Kevin. Yeah, you probably run into some Chinese imitations. I run into a few of those also. They're not too bad for receiving, but they just can't handle power because of the way the connection isn't the right angle adapter there. Very, very poorly made. One technique that I think Hanson all used was they think he threaded a 440 hole, and then the other one was male into a little female, and then
sometime at 9, so,
I'm not sure.
You need to get that amplifier fixed, man.
If you kind of torque it a little bit, you might that, and that's one way. The other way, of course, would be possibly put it in already and then add and secure your insulation portion. There's different methods, but remember, Elphinol made military QPL qualified on the products list, and there weren't too many others. They didn't have too much competition, but there were a couple of others, especially when it came to N connectors and HN and SMA types and so on. So I prefer to use the Teflon inserts because I don't have to worry about the high temperature, including the PL259s. Also, the Elphinols can handle the temperature. The big problem is with the coax, the inner dielectric, even on the LMR cable. So I prefer solid dielectric Teflon. And in some cases, I've used polyimide, which is known as, what is the yellow-orange, I'll remember the name of this. The chemical name is polyimide. Teflon is polyamide. Okay. All right. Let's see if we have any other. Anybody joining us? We're talking about connection manufacturers, especially right angle adapters for the PL259 and so on, and the problem that is coming in that. I bought some from Radio Shack and some of them.
I got that 1.2 degrees, 1030 influenced.
The straight PL259s with the barrel were okay. They seem to do that. The big problem is accommodating the larger diameter wires, such as in the LMR 400 series cable. The center pin will not fit. You need especially constructed inner diameter there. Okay. Anybody else with a Swan net? Before we go back to the top and check to see if Bill K6LK is back, and we also welcome any visitors. You don't have to be running Swan equipment to join this net. Just an interest in what Herb Johnson produced here, mostly in Oceanside, California. designed them in Tempe, Arizona, and then moved his facilities to Oceanside, and then made quite a name for himself. So, anybody else with a Swan neck, and then we'll go back to the top. K6LJ.
K6LK. Kilowatt 6, Lima kilowatt.
Oh, there you go. Bill is back. Bill, I'll give it to you since you missed your turn. And then pass it to Kevin, and we'll go down the list. Go ahead, Bill, and glad you're back. K6LGL.
Yeah, okay, Skip. Thanks for the all the flowers there. I'll keep it short because I just got done with dinner and I don't know what the topic is. Something about a PL259. When I, just in general, when I have a PL259, because I deal with older ones, I usually take out that center barrel and directly solder the shield to the outer barrel. That way I know I've got a positive connection and I can do it rather rapidly. The connecting thing that goes on the threads doesn't come back all the way, but it comes back far enough. I also look for the connectors being clean and tight when I plug it in. So that's helped me a lot in trying to get things going up and running correctly the first time. I'm not on any of the Swan equipment tonight because I just haven't gotten around to turning it on. Last time I want to emphasize something about Swan transceivers. It's not the microphone that you're dealing with. A lot of times it's the pass band that you're dealing with on the unit. It's the carrier oscillator is either too high or, well, I don't know if it's too high or too low, but it's off frequency. Because, after 70 years, things are going to get a little bit drifty. And I don't mean a Swan drifty, I mean like crystal oscillator off frequency. So you have to retweak that thing a little bit to get it back on frequency, and you can do it by ear if you mark the trimmer, or you can actually do it better with a frequency counter as one might expect. And those are getting down. They aren't as expensive today as they were in 1961. Anyway, over there to you, Kevin, and I'll keep it short because there's always that thing called propagation. WA6JKN, K6LK.
I got a big signal there, Bill. Very nice. And interesting. I was trying to visualize your description of how you terminate a PL259. Show me when you get around to it, take a picture of one and send it to me so I can get it clear in my brain because very interesting. Matter of fact, it kind of reminds me of some other special military cables that had the outer shield, soldered on the outside of its barrel, as opposed to being inside and it's soldering it there. Now I've done both. It just depends. You can't, if you put it on the outside of the barrel, you can't put the sleeve on it unless you put the sleeve on first. It's a different altogether. But I'll tell you what I've done. I have a solder pot, and I do have the DX Engineering cable splicer, or not splicer, but cutter. That's what it is. It automatically cuts the coax to expose the shield, and so I do that first. I kind of actually do the operation backwards from what DX Engineering's tool says, because it says cut here first, and that would cut the coax so you expose the center conductor. Then the opposite side cuts the insulation off the shield.
and that's the number 2 cut. Well, I do it backwards. I cut number 2 first, and I dip the coax shield into the solder pot after brushing on some flux, and I just put it in the solder pot, and it's got eutectic solder in there, 6337, and you dip it in there real quick and pull it out, and it's pre-tinned. It's ready to go. And then I go ahead and cut for the center conductor, and I do the same thing with that. I tin that. And so it's all ready. It's tinned, cleaned, ready to go, and then put the amphenol connector on there. However, you got to make sure that you have the right amphenol connector, because they are different. And so you put them in there, and then when you go to solder, you still have to add a little bit of flux on for the shield. So the solder just flows beautifully when you use flux. And so I paint a little bit around the barrel, and I don't use a soldering gun. I use a soldering pencil, about 60 watts. That way you control the heat. I also have a special tool that puts a big heat sink mass on the aft end of the connector, so it doesn't heat up the insulation of the coax. Because that can happen if you get too long-winded in your soldering process. And so anyway, using the right size iron and get the right dwell time. And a lot of people don't know this. The reason why I picked 6337 as my preferred solder is called eutectic, which means that the melting point for the tin and lead occurs at the same temperature. That's what you want. That's ideal, but that stuff's expensive. So anyway, be aware. Don't buy that Amazon solder. Someone else was using that, and I think it was Francesca, and those solder joints were crap. I don't know why Amazon's allowed to sell stuff that just doesn't work. I don't know what the deal was, but boy, oh boy, it was either bad technique or bad solder. I told them, it says buy Kester 6337. That way it lessens if you don't have the skills to use it, it kind of helps you, if you know what I mean, because it's got the right amount of flux in there and everything else. All right, enough of that. Anyway, let's keep it moving. And Phil, is that hex beam back up in the air, or are you still waiting for somebody to get that fixed? Because if that thing is sitting down where you can get to it and you need some help, I'll just jump in the car and drive down there and help you. It's only like San Diego's only 7 hours from here, I think. 7 hours, 7.5 hours. We got to get that thing fixed and back up in the air for you. And I wouldn't mind doing that. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
All right. I just have to find a nice hotel near the area there. I don't want to impose on you. I know there's a lot of good hotels down there. All right. Let's see. Over to you, Phil.
Where you at?
K6WHK, WA6JKN.
W6YEC?
I'm asking to announce it. You're on the way. Go ahead and pick it up, George, and give it back to me. M6WHK.
Welcome back, George. K6LZL. Go ahead.
Okay, sure. Skip what you said there. Anyway, hello everybody. I don't know who's on here tonight. Just got in. And talked to Phil on 220. Told him I was on my way. Figured I'd get here in time to at least say hello and hear a good lecture on soldering. Hi, Kevin. Anyway, very good. And tinting and all that stuff with the coaxial connector. Oh, man. We're on the Swan 350 here tonight. That hasn't changed. It was sitting on top of the 500. The one I had on last time before I took off for the island. And looks like it's still working. I'm waiting on the guy to get back to me on the power supply so I can package this thing up and move it on. I've got somebody might be interested, but I've got it hooked up to my power supply that I use with my 500. So anyway, seems like it's still working. Oh, Phil's got plenty of guys to help him. The problem is we've had too much rain here. Kevin, we've had so much rain, and that hill is muddy and what have you. And as soon as things dry out a little bit, we'll get a team over there and get that thing fixed. We did work on it and tried to change the coax that was going up. There was a slice in there, patch. Got rid of that, and that didn't help. So the problem is up higher. It's either at the Dallum, on the hex beam, that matching transformer, or a piece of coax up there. So that's why the tower's down. I think it is cranked down. Yeah, but it'll need to be tilted and need to get it down where we can work on it. No, it's not in a position to be worked on. So that's the deal. We thought the one connector was bad, but got rid of the patch and put a new connector on there, but it's still the same problem. So, well, we got his other beam working. We got the DX beam working, the high gain, and repaired the rotor cable and got that all working for him. So he's been working DX. He just doesn't have the workman's that the hex beam would provide. So anyway, we'll get it done. Just need a little dry weather here and a hill that you don't slide down. Anyway, with that, whoever's out here, hello. Let me give it back to you there, Phil, and I'll listen and see who's here. I presume John's not back yet, but maybe he's been checking in by remote. I don't know. N6, WHK, take it away, Phil. Thanks for letting me come in. W6YEC.
W6YEC, N6, WHK. Yeah, John's checked in a few times via the remote. Yeah, I think it's that S&O connector, that L-shaped connector that I used up there. And I think that was the problem. Because the coax, we rang that out. It's perfect all the way down to the shack. And the jumper was very good coax, a very expensive coax, and that checked out perfect too. So the only thing that's left is that L-shaped connector up the post that sticks up at all the different bands hook onto, and that we couldn't get to. We could get to everything else but that. Well, once we drop the tower, take that off, and run the coax directly to that vertical post, which runs to each and every band, I think it'll be okay. Anyway, so there you go on that. And, well, I've been sitting here playing. I've been working a lot of DX. I've been using my TA7 that I have up there. The rotor's not quite doing what it's supposed to, but it's getting me a pretty close direction, and I just tune them in by the audio. Since that thing is so closed off on both sides in the back, I just get it aimed pretty near them, and then I can bring it up to where it's right on the money. It's a good beam. I've used it for years, and the sun got to the control line to the power to the rotor. And the coax going up to it's in perfect condition. It's just the rotor cable was the sun started rotting out. So eventually we're gonna have to drop that, put a new rotor cable on it, and that'll be okay. But I've been working everybody under the sun. I can work on 10, 15, and 20 meters, and getting real good reports. So I've worked quite a few today in the contest. I wasn't in the contest. I was just looking for different stations out there. and I found a few that weren't in the contest, and done some rag chewing and a little bit of talking and a little bit of contacting. So I have something up there that's working. I would like to get my X working better, and I will down the road when the ground dries out. But my hill is so wet up there. I walked up there and you sink in the mud. I mean, it is muddy. It's very silty, and my hill is, and it just sink right in. So, a couple months when it dries out, we'll get it working again. But right now, the TA660, actually it's a TA7 because it's been modified, is working beautifully. So I'm happy with that. So with that over KD6 BWS, pick it up, my friend. You got a loud, strong signal in 6WHK.
Okay, well, in 6WHK, KD6 VWS. Yeah, you're pounding in here strong too.
Oh, I thought you got 390 horsepower.
You're really pounding in here, as usual. So, yeah. And, I'll be curious to hear how things went down there in Cuba.
Get down on them, but I try to keep it around 18 miles a gallon. Somewhere in there.
Yeah, I bought a bunch of rolls from somebody down at 29 Palms, had a bunch of rolls of Radio Shack solder. So I got about 3 rolls of that, real cheap. And I've had pretty good luck with that. But yeah, thank you, Kevin, for that 3763 formula. Yeah, Kester, that's the best stuff for sure. And speaking of the hills, yeah, man, the flowers are out here all over. So I'm going to be, for the next month or two, I'm going to be going to all these different hills, going up into the canyons because of the flora. Man, all kinds of neat flowers, interesting plants. This rain, that's the one thing it's done. It's made the desert looking real nice about now. So I'm looking forward to, because that place I rode up to and then hiked up on that hill today in Yucca Valley, man, there was some beautiful plants, flowers, and interesting
one today at
stuff.
One tomorrow.
So with that,
3:30 on Fox 4.
let me send it over to you, Jay. WB6 MWL. Yeah, KD6 VWS, WB6 MWL. Very good. Yeah, good evening to you, George. Glad you're back. Everything, hope everything went okay.
3/4 mile track.
And good signal on the 350 there. It sounds good. I think we're about 15-20 over here. We're on the 500C here. Whoops, I got a bad mic connection, I think. About 250 watts there. So, I bet you there will be a lot of flowers this year. I know they were showing down there towards Elsinore. They closed some of those roads down there because the last time it rained a lot, they had such traffic jams there. It was backing up to 15. People were backed up from that onto the 15, causing the traffic problem there. So the mayor of Lake Elsinore said, nope, not this time. So they closed those roads going up into the hills. So I guess people will have to go somewhere else. Maybe they'll come out to the desert. Who knows? So, my lawn here has been growing like crazy. I mowed it again, the backyard again today. And pulled a lot of weeds, too. So, that's the story here. And I'll keep it moving. I guess it goes back to you, Skip. We've probably got one more time to go around, that'll dry out. If it's, I don't think they're predicting much rain in April, Phil. So that hill should dry out for you there.
K6LGL, WB6MWL.
KK6IRZ.
KK6IRZ, K6LGL on the Swan there.
I think that's
Hey, why don't you take one? Thanks for showing up there. KK6IRZ.
It was the one
Empire.
boy, when we got out of there, our cars were all
K6LGL
our hair was all
with the rest of the,
we just
wow, what?
went
What?
over the rest.
Okay, hold on here. When we get things a little more under control, I think that'll be all right. This is KK6IRZ, Jeff in Chino, California, and good evening to everybody on the net. Just listening for a little bit here, but running my typical ICOM 735 right at the moment, but been doing a whole lot of work around the shack and around the place today, organizing tubes, finished up the 40-meter dual 4x1 transmitter RF deck for 40 meters, but still got to build the power supply, but the deck is done, so that's good. And, just all that type of stuff, so really not too much over here. So I'll send it back over to Skip. How are you and doing? And hopefully everybody else is also doing well. K6LGL, this is KK6IRZ.
Well, some of them was,
Okay, Jeff. Sounds good.
Dan Moe, but,
KK6IRZ. Welcome aboard always. Glad to hear from you.
They all work pretty good.
You're still more actively involved in the construction phase. Finish the shack, and now you got to fill it with the goodies that you want to have in there. Well, we were talking about connectors, especially the right angle. What is it? So 239, 238. I forget what the designation is. The ones that are made by Hampton, all of the military qualified. They're pretty reliable, and some of the imitations are made in China are highly suspect, especially for higher power. So Kevin did a little analysis on those. And you have to be careful.
Get on here tonight?
Okay. Sounds good. All of you. And all your experiences. Yeah, George, I'd like to have some comments on Cuba, which were general impressions, economy, people, how they're doing, and so on. It would be interesting to observe current conditions. I understand it's pretty rough in Cuba, economically especially. So it'd be interesting to hear from you. So, let's do another round before that. And maybe call it the final round, because by the time we finish, it will be well after 8. So, back over to Kevin, and then to Bill. Okay, glad to see you back. And then our friend Phil in 6WHK. Then Ron, VW, enjoying the flowers in the desert. And then George, YEC, and then finish up with Jeff. You're the caboose this evening.
Oh, that's how you like that big one. Won't be long.
Gentlemen, the Navy viewers are standing by. WA6JKN. And the Swan Group, K6 Little Green Light.
I always tried to avoid angled connectors.
Good point.
Yeah. I don't know why you would want to do that, Jeff. Sometimes you got to use them. So I'd like to hear from you what the downside is. And for HF, I could see maybe some problems when you get up to around 10 gigs or something like that, in the X band, where the full wavelength is 3 centimeters. But I don't know why you wouldn't use them unless, as part of the discussion we've already had about the quality of these right angle connectors are pretty bad. And I wonder if anybody knows how Amphenol actually connects how they make the termination at the right angle. their right angle connectors. The SO, the PL259 to SO 259 right angle. How do they do that? Do they use interference fit? They can't solder it the way the barrel's made. So is it just one piece that they just bend it's right size, you bend it when you put it in there, or I'm not sure. If anybody knows how that thing is constructed, I guess I'm just going to have to take one of my Amphenols and just grind it and see how they actually made the termination. But the ones I bought from, they're made in Asia somewhere, and they're actually made pretty good. The compression fit is got a nice fit to the SO2 the SO259 or whatever it's called has a nice tight fit to the PL259 coax, and the PL259 end of the right angle has the proper size diameter for the pin. And of course the housing itself is very, very robust. And where they screwed the pooch on this is where they made the termination point internally to the connector. And so, like I said before, I was able to solve that problem after performing destructive physical analysis on the darn thing, and determined it was not even a press fit or a crimp or soldered. It was just loosely, connected. So that was no good. That's why it failed under running high power through it. Low power, it didn't seem to mind, but on high power, boy oh boy, it didn't. The Mercury Lux amplifier said, nope, we're not going to do it. Not using this connector. So, like I said, I drilled a hole in it after I found out where the connection junction point was, and made the hole big enough to be able to get in there with a soldering iron, some flux, and some solder, and actually soldered that connection. The solder flowed beautifully, no problem whatsoever. Then I put it, like I said, I put it back on the Mercury Lux, ran it up to about 2,100 watts, and ran it from 160 meters all the way up to 6 meters, and it worked just fine into the dummy load, 1.0 to 1 all the way through without problems. So I made this poorly terminated right angle joint to match the rest of the quality, the good parts of the connector. I mean, it's robust now, and all I had to do is put a cap on where I made the drill. The drill was a little bit bigger than a 1/4 inch, and it was enough to get a pencil iron in there and get it all soldered up and put flux and all that. So, all right, let me go through the list here real quick. I just wanted to mention that 10 meters. Keep this in mind, because it reminded me of the old days. I was calling CQ on 10 meters and didn't hear anybody come back. And so I started tuning off frequency, and there he was. There was a guy returning my CQ. He was about, say, 5, 6, 7 kcs off. He was crystal bound. He was rock bound, and so I went ahead and moved on his frequency. But man, doesn't that bring back good memories about working stations with that are rock bound? So that was kind of fun. All right, Jay, I apologize I didn't answer this the other time around. The Swan, yes, I do have a Swan 350. It's the C model. It's kind of an aftermarket. I guess someone sent this 350 back to the manufacturer and changed the finals, and it's got 2 pairs of, I forget what they are now, but it puts out like 500 something watts. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it, so it's like a 500, Swan 500, so that, and it's on the workbench. It's nothing wrong with the PA or anything. or the receiver, it's the dial light. Something happened with the dial light, so I just need to get back in there and fix it. I just haven't had the time to do it. So I'm planning on getting that this summer, definitely back on the air. All right, and George, welcome back from your long trip there, or long. When I mean long, you know, far away, and administering the good word as you normally do, and fine business on having a crew there standing idly by, waiting for the ground to dry up there so you can get Phil's antenna back in operation there. So Phil, looks like you're in good shape there. But anyway, if you grab a couple of tri-tip steaks, I might come down and help anyway. I do have nice boots. I don't mind slugging around in the mud. We used to do that when I was in the Army. I remember in order to complete POW camp, we had to go up what was called Drag Ass Hill. And Drag Ass Hill was on about a 45 to 50 degree slope. And it was all muddy, and as you climbed up the hill, you would literally sink in the mud up to your knees. So you still had to march up the hill in that condition. It wasn't easy. But back then, you know, back in the 60s, late 60s, we were young, so it was no big deal. It was still a challenge, though. Okay, enough of that. On to you, Phil. K6WHK and the group 73. This is a 73 round, I think. Oh boy, I forgot. 73, and good evening to everybody. WA6JKN.
Somebody comes in before me, I skip. K6L, Bill in the back. One of us had that taken out about in here first.
Yeah, I'm still here.
K6 little green light.
Yeah, I'm still here, Skip.
Oh, okay. Go ahead and take one, then pass it to Phil. All right?
Yeah, sure, Skip. Anyway, I'll keep it short here. And, yeah, Jay, I'm still looking around for your 6LQ6s. I think you were trying to find some, and I might be able to dig those up for you. I got to keep looking. And, Kevin, I'll get a picture of that tomorrow when the sun's out, of the coax connector. I think it's a really positive way to do it. It's fast, and well, for me, it's worked out real well. Because I don't fuss around with that pre-tinning and all that other stuff that goes on, which is nice for VHF, UHF, and on up into the gigs. But for HF, I don't think we need it. And so I just don't do it. I'll probably do it later on if I get involved with satellites a little more, and I think that's where it's more activable. Anyway, over there to you, Phil, and the Swan Junkies out of here. I'll make this my 73s and catch you all later. I think it's HJK, or maybe I've got it wrong, K6LK.
No problem. November 6th, Whiskey Hotel Kilo. I was just looking at the DX cluster over on the other bench. And I knew I thought you came in before I did, and you went to dinner or something like that, and came back. So I wanted to keep everything in order. November 6th, Whiskey Hotel Kilo, to make sure I keep that in order. Yeah, I don't have a heck of a lot, but like I said, once the hill dries out, I got some pretty good guys around here to help. I'm George the supervisor, and we'll get it done. This is going to take a little bit of time, because water is still running out of it. I have a house 4 doors up. Yeah, 4 doors up. They have a spring in the backyard, and the water runs out of their ground pretty near all year round and down the curb into the gutters. So this hill soaks up a lot of water, and it takes a little while for it to dry out. I used that to my advantage at one time when I was digging a hole, but you don't want to try it when it's dry. It's just like concrete. Anyhow, but we will get it done down the road a bit. So with that, let's turn it over to Josh Latree. KD6 VWS and 6WHK. 7-3, gentlemen.
Okay, Phil. N6WHK, KD6VWS, and hello, Jeff. And man, yeah, everybody's coming in great. Even Bill's coming in good, even though I've got this heterodyne from my interference. But yeah, I think, Kevin, on the Amphenol's, it's probably a continuous, that center, I think, is a continuous piece. Whereas, like you say, with the cheap Chinese ones, they're, like you say, not even crimped or soldered. Boy, I'll tell you, great workmanship. Yeah. So, yeah, I use those L connectors a lot, because I got that 5-way B&W antenna switch, and I've got, all, you know, on all of those, and so, and then on the back of my radios, transmitters, I've got them so that, you know, I can get the equipment closer to the wall. So they are handy, but you got to get good ones. Yeah. What I did was, when I'd go to a Amfest, I'd get the old used ones, you know, the old Amphenol's, you know, with the fake white dielectric, and you know them are good old connectors, military spec. And all righty then, I'll say my 73 and send it over to you, Jay. WB6MWL, KD6VWS.
Okay, very good. Ron, KD6VWS, WB6MWL. Yeah, I'm glad you found the source of your interference there. That's good. Maybe you can find out what that is. I know it could be an aquarium heater. Those things are notorious, some of them, for doing things like that. So that could be what it is. So I'm just speculating, of course. But they are definite weird generators of noise sometimes. Anyway, I'll say 73s, and I'll turn it over to Jeff, and we'll look for all of you people later. And oh, fine, Kevin, on the, yeah, I had forgotten you had that 350C there with the modification. Yeah, it probably was done at the factory. They used to do quite a bit of that down there in Oceanside. You could send it in, and they'd update the finals and put later stuff in. But boy, that's good power. If you're getting 500 watts out, that's great. Anyway, over to you, Jeff. KK6IRZ, WB6MWL.
All right, very good. This is KK6IRZ, and hearing everybody quite well this fine evening. Just hanging out here and doing a thing. Good questions. Yeah, connectors. Okay, well, you know, I have a lot of little rules of thumb, if you will. Not necessarily based in, oh boy, it's a problem if you don't do it that way, but more of it's a preference for me to be doing it. Because the reality of it is that if you're using something within the spec that it was designed for and it was built correctly, you'll probably never have a problem. So the question is, what's the bell curve of absolute perfectly manufactured and one that's a little bit flaky? Because remember, with the bell curve, let's say that we're using a sample of 100, and out of that 100 you got
60 that are absolutely hunky-dory right in the middle of that curve. Everything went together perfectly. Nobody had to make a modification. The manufacturing process was absolutely perfect. There you go. And then it moves to less and less as you go out to the edges of that curve. And what they do is they try to put the cutoff on that bandwidth of the curve so that what gets out to the public has a very likely chance at working to the spec most of the time or all the time. The problem is that there are certain things that require a little bit more finesse in constructing. And a 90-degree, especially the styles that have like the right angle where it's got a sharp back right angle, I think those are Afinal, but I'm not sure. But in any case, there's 3 or 4 different ways that they can be made. The biggest thing is a lot of people will look at the 90-degree connector, a standard one that's PL259, male on one side and female on the other side type of thing, you know, and think that the center conductor actually goes from the edge of the body of that casing to the edge of the body of the casing on the other side of the 90. And that's not really true because the pin has a backing on it behind that Teflon which recesses it into the body a bit. The other side has a cup that you have to be able to put your whole pin into. So at the end of the day, when they do a continuous center point, it actually just gets inserted after the fact and then constructed, and the Teflon is what keeps everything centered. However, it's also a little bit tricky to get those things to bond because once you're putting everything in there, you're bonding it from the end and trying to get everything to wick to that center piece. But of course, they've made tools and fixtures and, you know, they've worked out all those details. So it really boils down to the bell curve. And some connector manufacturers have more of the stuff that's at the edges of the bell curve, and other manufacturers have more that are into the middle of the bell curve. So as a rule, though, it really isn't going to matter. As long as the connector is good, it's not going to matter up to 500 watts or even 800 watts of carrier. When you start running, you know, kilowatts, or you're running 2.5 kilowatts PET, and you know you're doing all this other stuff. Sometimes with those they can get a little bit flaky. That's where you want to start considering maybe going to type N connectors and that type of thing, rather than the typical amateur radio connector. But for me, like I say, I prefer to just put on a good straight connector, and if I have to do something that needs a bend, then I use the Superflex LMR 400. That's what I stick it in and I just let it have a tight roll, because the Superflex 400 actually has a pretty acceptable tight radius bend. You can be pretty sharp curve with those bad babies, and it won't matter. So even on patch cables, if I make a patch cable, it's going to have a straight and a straight on either end with a little bit of a loop, so I can just put it in and screw it. Not necessarily, like I say, because I'm expecting a bunch of failures from the 90s, but it's just my rule of thumb. The same as I have a rule of thumb for AM transmitters, the way that I design them or build them or anything. It's not that it's the only way or the right way and everybody else is wrong. It's just the parameters and kind of the stuff that I use. So in any case, when it comes to the connectors, I try to avoid them, but you're absolutely right. There's times where you just can't get away from it. And that's where you just spend the money and buy the high quality. Just buy the high quality connector and be done with it. Because with straight connectors, you can actually pretty much buy anybody's straight connector and it's going to do the purpose, because it's so much harder to screw up when you're making it. I mean, you can, but it's not as easy, especially if you're doing solder connectors. So now you can put it all in, and you can straighten it all out, and you solder the center conductor. So in any case, those are kind of just my rules of thumb, not saying that they're the only way or the right way and everybody else the wrong way, just simply the way that I try to approach it. And that's why I say, for me, I try to avoid angled connectors. But I know plenty of people that have had much success with them in stuff, but I've had too many of them fail on me. But I'm also probably running more power during those failures than most people would be. So I think it's also the combination of the power that I run. Like I say, lower power probably isn't going to matter that much. But Kevin, the way you run power, the way I run power, and all the other stuff there, you got to pay attention a little bit more. At least that's the way I look at it. The 20-meter crystal, wow, that is the old days there. Yeah, I remember. You'd give a call, you'd holler, holler, and then when you went to listen, you didn't just unkey and listen. No, you rolled up the band a little bit. You rolled down the band a little bit. You rolled up the band a little bit. You rolled down the band a little bit. Absolutely, Kevin. Reminiscent of the old days of AM operation. Exactly. Or really, not even just, yeah, you get on there, and after you got done your call, you couldn't just sit back and listen. You got to move around. So very interesting on the 20-meter operation. I was on 20 the other day, actually, although I couldn't get any AM signals. I did make a couple sideband contacts, but nobody wanted to come back to me on AM. So it is what it is. And then yeah, so there you go. And I guess it's going over to Skip, and this is the 73 round, so 73s to everybody. Sorry I was so late and just kind of popped in and popping back out, but it was a pleasure hearing everybody. Getting ready to, I should say, I'm going to the East Coast for the upcoming Near Fest, Hamfester in New Hampshire. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm flying to the East Coast for the weekend of the Hamfest and then flying back on Sunday night. So just going to the East Coast for the weekend. But I haven't been to that Hamfest in 20 years. As a matter of fact, almost to the day. I want to say the last time I went to the Hamfest was springtime 2002. So just a little bit over 20 years, 21 years, I guess, almost to the day. So there we go. I'm looking forward to that. I'll see Tim, my buddy, and all the other guys there that I used to hang with on the East Coast, and it will be a wonderful weekend Hamfester in Deerfield, New Hampshire. I'm really looking forward to it. So, over to you and 73 to everybody else. Take it away, Skip. K6LGL with Drew. This is KK6IRZ.
Did we miss George?
Yes, you did. So, George, it's your turn. Go ahead. W6YEC, K6LGL.
Yeah, okay, Skip, real good. Well, I was just kicking back. No big deal. Anyway, very good. Okay, on all the comments there. Fine, Jeff, on your trip, upcoming trip you got planned. Sounds like fun. Heard Tim on the other night talking to somebody, I forget, but I switched radios. I'm on the 500. And I took the 350 off because it was sitting on top of the 500. And I'll check it back out. I'll check it again once I get a power supply for it. And I've got somebody that has some interest in it, I think. So that might be going bye-bye. I don't need it. It's the 500. So, and then I was fooling around here with the remote on the 7300. I went into the router today, Kevin, and made some changes on ports. I had to add those ports in there to get this thing through. And so I have to try it out now, see if it works. It works on my system here, but I had to I put on a static DNS and all that. So it should work. But and then it didn't check it, so I went ahead and turned on the ICOM guys and set up the remote, and it was fine. I said, well, maybe I don't get on the remote, so I just went back to the 500 here. Anyway, real quick report. Getting late, 73 rounds. But yeah, it was a very, very wonderful trip to Cuba. Our assignment went very, very well, and in the two cities we were in, and had great reception from the pastors cross-denominationally, and they had very receptive to the we had to share, and a lot of good time together, and they had a good time connecting with each other. On your question there, Skip, Cuba's in real trouble, and very, very hard on the people. Very just inflation there, just like everywhere. They're not getting real difficult to get food, and because we bought all the food for the different situations, and so they were able to enjoy some good meals. But most of the time, it's very, very difficult. They're struggling. The young people are getting out of there. I've got right now I have two couples that I was with that are making plans to get out of there. One of them just sold their house, and they'll be going to Brazil on a mission, but leaving Cuba. The other couple will be coming to Miami, so they're waiting to get the paperwork approval. But they're both newlyweds, and it's just not happening there in Cuba. So they're losing a lot of young people. I don't know how that's working with the government. I mean, they just have to wait, but they get the paperwork, and they're able to get out of there and come to the States or elsewhere, go elsewhere. So our hearts are broken for them because of what they're struggling with. We're not very far behind, to be honest with you. The writing's on the wall. So, but I tell you, it was great to get home. There was a negative side to the problem that we're working on with one particular leader and a group. And so that was a little downer because we were hoping we could get that solved, and it didn't get solved, so that was a little downer. I almost missed, I thought I was going to miss my flight. I was sitting there with coffee in hand, getting ready to talk to Becky, and then somebody said they changed the gate, and Miami's a big airport. So, but somebody got the wrong information on the gate. So, I'm looking for the gate that I heard, and I had to go up, get the tram, go down to a couple stations, and I'm going towards that gate, and I said, this isn't right, this is Turkish Airlines. So I turned around, and some guy picked me up, and I went and looked at the big board, and yep, there was the right gate. I figured out the right gate, so some guy had mercy on me, picked me up in a cart, but then you realize where I was going, and he said, I'll never get you there before the flight. So he told me go up the stairs, get on the tram, go back over at the trail. Oh man, I just came from there, so I did. And I'm running down, trying to get there because now I'm running out of time. They're going to close the door on me. And anyway, I get there, and I don't know, 10 minutes before, they closed the doors at 15 before, and then I get there, and the woman says, yeah, can I help you? And I told her, and she said, oh, your plane is late, and so we haven't even loaded yet. Oh, man. So that was a bit of a sweat, but everything was okay. And I told my wife, I told her, and I said, well, I'm still fit for cross-country, I'll tell you, because I had to run, and thinking I was going to miss that flight. Woo! Was I glad to sit down and catch my breath and get on the plane, and it all went very well. So we're home safe and sound. My partner's still over there. We had a wedding. One of our families there, couples, pastor couple, their daughter's getting married, but I just couldn't take a second week with the things we had going on here in San Diego. I just got home from our stadium event. It was powerful. It was, oh man, so many people. The thing went so well. We started at noon, ended at 7. And I scrambled that because I ate a little rest. Got home at 1 yesterday. So anyway, it's been very good. So now we have the week in front of us to get caught up. All right, guys, 73 to everybody. Back to you there, Skip. And thanks for letting me squeeze in here tonight. A little ham radio in. K6LGL, W6YEC.
Welcome back, George.
I'm sorry?
I said welcome back.
Oh, thank you very much.
There you go. Okay, W6YEC. K6LGL, this one. I'm sorry that we accidentally skipped over you, but it was not intentional. Jeff, interesting comments that you have. There was another version that was done, this skipped K6LGL for the Swan net. It was a threaded type in the case of the right angle SO238, I think, version. Was that I think used a 440 screw tapped into the socket side and then swaged in there, you know. If it is infrequently used, it was okay, but when you use it frequently in a lab situation, we're connecting to that, it tends to lose. So the preferred one is made out of a single right angle bend, you know, assembly. That is easiest, and then you apply your insulators and then apply adhesive, whatever it is, to set them in place. So, but the bell curve is absolutely right. Those on the edges are suspect. In the case of the military QPL, it's a little sharper selection, that's all. Okay, fine on that, George. Your comments are appreciated. Economy is very, very rough on people. And there's not a great deal can do. We could probably ease some of their requirements on them, but then the Cuban government is not willing to give. So, you know, you have to find a workable compromise, and that's sometimes very hard to do. All right. Gentlemen, thank you very much for stopping by and saying hello. And among other things, we also talk about Swan, but the Swan net is, you know, in spirit only. Anything goes, and I enjoy. Connectors seem to be, right angle connectors seem to be the theme, and it's okay. In the case of the Flex LMR, is one way to get around there. But there are certain times when you have a closed fit, you know, when you've got your bunch of equipment, you do need a right angle to come in there. And just be careful how you select it, especially when you're running higher power. Okay, I'll turn it over to anybody. Any final comments? Good night. Enjoy the weekend. And looks like April may be a little warmer, and I'm glad we got through March. It's one of the worst March months that I can remember in the last 30 years. It's been a rough one. So, 73s, and hey, everybody stay warm and dry and be happy.